Hey guys, it's Watercolor Jumpstart number 24, and today we are going to talk about doing a waterproof ink outline and doing watercolor washes on top of it. So our first step is to create a pencil drawing. I decided to do a rubber chicken, and I don't know why. I remember being like, I have no idea what I'm going to paint. I'm all out of ideas, and I want to do tropical plants, but I've done too many of those, and I can't use green. And so I was like, rubber chicken. I guess that's what I'm going to do. And I actually kind of like this one. I think it's quirky, and I think that it suits this more stylized look of using a heavy ink outline. So I'm getting my drawing in, taking my time to get it just the way I like, using a kneaded eraser to fix any mistakes. And as soon as I've got it all fixed up, I'm going to use a waterproof marker. So you definitely want to test all of this on a scrap piece of paper. I tried out several markers, and this specific brush pen flowed the best on my paper. And then you also double check, make sure it's waterproof. So actually, I feel that the 140-pound cold press paper is a little rough for using a marker. I really like using this technique in my sketchbook because the paper is a lot less textured, and it's really nice for when you know your paper isn't as thick, so it can't handle as much like of water action. So you go ahead and you do your outline. You're not required to do as intensive painting. So right before I started painting, you saw me erasing all of those stray pencil lines, so it just looks like a clean ink outline. I love doing that because I like a nice clean drawing, and so you can just erase away all your mistakes. Love that part of this whole process. So now I'm just going to do a couple of watercolor washes, just kind of casually coloring it in. I'm not really worried about realism on this one because we're embracing the stylization. We're doing more of a illustration-y or cartoony vibe when we do a thick outline like that. If we were going for realism, we just wouldn't outline anything. Real life doesn't have outlines. So now I'm putting in a background just to make it look more completed and to get a better color balance. I think that this piece in particular really benefited from that blue, and then also it ties it into the blue that's going to go in that little eyeball. And I like this because it's quirky. I think it's weird. There's a lot of flowers and stuff, and I like doing that as much as the next person, but anytime you can paint something that's just a little strange, I think that it's really fun. And watercolor can have a reputation for being old-fashioned maybe, or just very traditional or old school. So it's like, I'm going to paint something that's just stupid, and I don't know, it brings me a lot of joy. I like that generally. I like really fancy looking oil paintings, and it's just of some really humble subject matter. So now I'm adding a drop shadow. I end up doing that a lot. I think it just makes things look a little more complete. That's something that I've really embraced in my own work. So just a very light, usually purplish gray is what I use. You can see I got a little bit of bleed from the face onto that background. Not a deal breaker for me, but I do realize that I guess that's considered a mistake. Things like that don't really bother me too much though, so it's really up to you if that's a deal breaker in your own art practice. So I'm going to put a little pattern in the background and then call it a day. I thought this was a really fun illustration, and I encourage you to pick a subject matter that's maybe quirky or weird or unexpected or just something funny. And be sure to tag me on Instagram or use the hashtag JumpstartWithJenny so I can see the funny things that you've made. And be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye guys.